Hello guys, in this video I will show you on how to create a table using the SQL CREATE statement. So let's start. In this tutorial I will be using the MySQL or the MariaDB command prompt. Okay, so let's begin. First, we need to show all the databases using the command show databases. Okay, so in this example, we'll be using the DB attendance as our database. So we'll be using that using the command use DB attendance. So the DB attendance is the selected database. So we'll be displaying the tables available in DB attendance. So to do that, we'll be using the command show tables rather. Okay, so we have two tables here. We have the TBL profile and the TBL student. So in here, we'll be recreating the TBL profile. So we need to delete the TBL profile first. To delete that, we'll be using the drop table TBL profile. So this command will delete the table profile. Then enter. And then query OK. So if that means the SQL statement is successfully executed. So what we need to do now is to check again our tables. So we'll be using the show tables, and then we only have TBL student. So we'll be recreating, or we'll be creating again the TBL profile. So we'll be using the create table statement. So create table, and then the name of the table, TBL profile, and then open close parenthesis semicolon. Inside of the open and close parenthesis, we will specify the different columns or fields of the TBL profile. So the first column is the ID, and then after the name of the field, specify the data type. So for example, that will be int, and then we need to set this as auto increment since it will serve as our primary key increment, and then comma, then we will set this into just remove the comma first. We'll set this into primary key. So the name of the field, the data type, space, auto increment, space, primary key. Then that is the properties of the first column. Another column. So for example, name, and the data type is varchar. The length of the varchar, so let's say for example that will be 50, and then we need to specify if this column is or will allow a null values. So for example, so we'll set that into not null, and then not null, and then comma, another column, for example the sex, then the data type of this is enum, specify the default values or the values for enum. So we'll just adjust the screen so that we can see the SQL statement. Okay, so enum, and then specify the options or the values available. Enum means enumeration or enumerated. So we need to specify the choices or the allowed values for the sex. So let's say the allowed values is or are for the male is M and for the female is F. Then we'll adjust again the screen and then check the statement, or let us review the statement before executing it. So in this statement, we'll be creating a table with three data fields or three columns, namely the ID, name, and the sex. For the ID, the data type is integer. Then we set it into auto increment, and we also set it as the primary key of this table. So we didn't specify the length of the integer because it will automatically determine the length. So normally that is 11. The length of this is 11. And then for the second column, the data field is name. We set the data type into varchar and the length is 50, and we set into not null. And then for the third column, sex, we use the data type enum, and we specify the options or the values for enum, which is the male and female. So male is represented by M and female is represented by F. So do not forget to put a semicolon at the end of our statement. Then please or press the enter key. Okay, so it is successfully created. There is no error on our SQL statement. So let's check if the table is created already. So we'll be using the show tables statement, and then in here we have the TBL profile. So let's check the structure of the TBL profile. So we can check the structure of the TBL profile by using the describe statement, then semicolon. Then as you can see, we have three columns. We have the integer 11, the length is 11, so no. For the null values, no. Key, primary key, by default null, and we set it into auto increment. For the name, varchar 50, and since we use the not null statement here, so the null values is no. And then for the sex, enum, and the values is M and F. So that's it. Thank you for watching. See you on our next videos.